Hello, you found it. Strictly Strings, page 35. This page is a big deal. We get to revisit one of the most famous songs ever written, Hot Cross Buns. But this time we get to add this new symbol to it. It's called a flat. What is it?
Flat.
Yeah, and what it does is it lowers notes a half step. Not very much. A half step are two notes that are right next to each other. And in lots of the music that we're going to be playing, that's as small as two notes can get. Now, at some point, you might get all fancy and play stuff that's a little bit different. But for now, a half step is as small as we can get between two notes. Like this, B, and then B flat. Or A flat. Or G flat. Or F flat. Or E flat. And so on. Every note, you can add a flat to it and you'll lower it by a half step. It's kind of the opposite of a sharp, isn't it? Yeah, sharps raise things by a half step. We have C sharp, C sharp. And with one little sharp, everyone leaves the water. With one little flat, it makes the note slightly lower. So sharps and flats, those are two ways that we alter notes, and something that you learn here on page 35. Well, you also learn this word, largo, and it means slowly. If there was an Italian word to describe the movements of a sloth, this would be it. Largo, very slowly. It's music that's not going to have a lot of forward motion. It's going to be very settled in the way that it presents itself. Also big news, the violas and the cellos. If you recall, on page 34, the violins and the basses, they got to learn their E string. Well, page 35, you get to learn your C string. So we have open C, first finger D, and then for the violas, high second finger is E, not E sharp, just the way it works, high second finger E, which means that if we made this low, bing, now that's E flat, E flat. So open C, first finger D, high second finger E, low second finger E flat, high second finger E, third finger F. Just the way it works. If we had a high third finger, it'd turn into F sharp. But for now, we're doing third finger F. And then if you put your pinky down, that is fourth finger G. Now for the cellists, open C, open C, open C, learning open C, open C. Open C, first finger D, third finger E. Just the way it works out, which means our second finger is E flat. C, D, E flat, E, and then we drop our pinky, bing, and that note is F. If you're trying to find F sharp, it's way up here. You have to reach in between where you would normally shift for fourth finger G. Fourth finger F, shift, fourth finger G. Now once you're up there, F sharp is in between G and F. Not a note you have to worry about today, but for folks who are trying to figure it out, there you go. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we're dealing with here. For the violins, violas, and the cellos, you can do all of this in what you already know is first position. You don't have to shift. But basses, you know you're special. You get to do one added thing. For the notes you're about to play, you get to go to a thing called half position. Now we'll cover that when we get to number 3 for the first time that you have to deal with that. Alrighty, so page 35, number 1. We're just making sure that we look at the key signature and that we can see that it's an F natural and a C natural. But the biggest thing we're learning here is the C string notes for our viola and cello friends. So let's go ahead and say the note names for page 35, number 1. We'll do the repeats and then we'll move on to number 2. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and C, D, E, F natural, E, D, C, left, C, D, F natural, E, D, C, lift, B section, C, D, C, D, E, So if you're a violist or a cellist, I'd highly recommend reviewing those notes many, many times. Just keep thinking to yourself what the note names are, and then every time you see them, remind yourself all the answers are on top of that page. Keep adding to the information. Your brain will slowly but surely begin to recognize these symbols automatically. Just takes time, just takes repetition. So number 2, the exact same thing as number 1, in the sense that the violins and the basses, you've covered all these notes, but cellos and violas is the first time we're really working on the C string. Everybody gets the challenge of the B section, however, because you're doing what's called an arpeggio, which means a chord that's broken up. You'll be playing the 3 main notes of a C major arpeggio, C, E, and G, which means you'll be skipping notes and jumping around your instrument a little bit. So again, I recommend if you are new to these notes, you say the note names. If you're familiar with these notes, you might consider actually playing along with me, making a full sound and making sure you're thinking about the key signature with those F naturals and C naturals, which they still throw those arrows in just to help you out. Here we go, page 35, number 2. Ready, set, here we go. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C natural, B, A, G, F natural, E, D, C. Repeat. C, D, E, F natural, G, A, B, C natural, B, A, G, F natural, E, D, B section, C, E, G, C, G, E, C to repeat, and C, G, C, G, C, 2, 3, done. New notes, new strings. Now looking at page 35, number 3, basses, it's time, half position. So you've gotten very comfortable with the idea of putting your first finger on the first stripe. Well, that makes sense, first finger, first stripe. Well, now what you're going to do is with half position, you're actually going to put your second finger on the first stripe. So normally you would play open D, first finger E. Now you're going to play open D, second finger E. Instead of having your first finger on that stripe, put your second finger there. And that way you can play first finger E flat. But you have to move your hand a lot more than the rest of us do. Violin, viola, cello, you just have to move your finger. You don't have to commit to a whole new position. Basses, almost always, you're going to commit to a new position, especially if your hands aren't supersized yet. So looking at page 35, many things to cover. Number 1, no sharps, no flats, all natural. Number 2, you've got a leap and then descending notes with an F natural example. In the B section, you have a leap with a descending scale. However, instead of first finger E, it's now E flat. So reviewing the pictures on top of the page, remember that the E flat is between the end of the fingerboard and your first tape. And if you don't have a tape, it's where you're used to putting your first finger. So if your first finger is on E, you just move it between where it normally would land and the scroll roughly 50%, and you'll get on an E flat. Then on top of that, you have a fermata, and that's just to give you a chance to tune it. Because probably your teacher's gonna be like, whoa, that's not right yet. So you're gonna stay on it until it sounds like the piano. Section C, it has the same thing as section B. However, now it's quarter notes and then just smush it together. So you have normal first finger E and then you have low first finger E flat. And they're like, these kids seem like they're pretty clever. How about we not only have low first finger E, but we're also going to give them B flat since it's on the same part of their fingerboard. And you go, yay! And the basses go, what? Because it's not the same finger for you. However, basses, you get to stay in half position. You have open D, first finger E flat, second finger E, and if you put your pinky down, that would be F. Well, jump over a string. You have open G, low first finger A flat, second finger A, and ding, fourth finger B flat. half position. If you move back to first position, that's B. Go to half position, B flat. Lots of stuff. I'll say the notes, we'll repeat it. You might want to just say notes. You might want to just kind of maneuver your way around the fingerboard before you add all the other elements. Page 35, number 3. Ready, set, here you go. D, G, F natural, E. Repeat, D, G, F natural, E. B section, D, G, F natural, low E flat, repeat, and D, G, F natural, E flat, section C, ready, go, D, G, F natural, E, D, G, F natural, E flat, repeat and go, and D, G, F natural, E, D, G, F natural, E flat, D section, ready, go, G, B flat, low first finger violins, violas, cellos, and fourth finger half position basses. Keep going. G, E flat, low first finger on the D string, basses, half position first finger. Repeat and go. G, B flat, low first finger on the A string for violins, violas, and cellos, and fourth finger half position for our basses. G and E flat. And I know you've been waiting for it, because right below it, you can see it. Fun with hot cross buns. That's right, our old favorite is back, but now we're playing some different notes. The first time you learned it, you played F sharp, E, D. Well, we're all much older now, and we're going to play this. This is going to sound exactly the same, but it's going to be a new place on your instrument. The first note now is G. Right? Second note is F, not F sharp. And the third note is E flat. Notice bass players, it says half position. So you play open G, and then in half position, you have fourth finger F and first finger E flat. For everyone else, we have our second finger F, and then we reach back for that low first finger E flat. Now we do get to mix it up a little bit with our rhythm. The first time you played it, it was all quarter notes or all half notes. And now we have staccato dots, and we have eighth notes with accents. So we have G, rest, E, and E flat, and D, and one, and eighth notes, E flat, eighth notes. Here is F, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. Lift your bow, repeat, and go. G, and F, and E flat, and 3, 4, G, and F, and E flat, 2, 3, eighth notes, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and second ending, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Slightly more complicated, isn't it? You've got some new notes, you've got some new rhythms, you've got some new articulations, you've got some new accents, you've got first and second ending, and then they throw you a curveball with rhythms that have rests in between in a very slow tempo. So those rests feel like an eternity. Let's do it one more time. You can say the note names, you can pizzicato, you could clap the rhythms, or you could try playing along with me. You ready? 1 and 2 and ready and go. And G, F, E flat, F, E flat, E flat, and F, and first ending, F, E flat, ready, and repeat, G, F, E flat, F, E flat, E flat, E flat, E flat, E flat, F, 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 second ending, G, rest, and B flat, E flat, E flat, E flat, and nice job. Fun with hot cross buns. Not sure it gets much better. But we do have 2 more tunes to play. One's called Going Home, and the next one's Ode to Joy. Both of these come from fantastic composers, one Dvorak and the other Beethoven, and it's an opportunity to play one of the most famous melodies of the classical era. So Going Home, it has that sloth-like direction of Largo. Very, very slow. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, so we're going to learn a new Italian word, largo, meaning to play slowly. But boy, do we have a lot of things to review. You've got yourself a slur connecting a dotted quarter note and an eighth note. That's a newer rhythm. You've got the word legato, which means to play smoothly. That's a newer idea with your bow. You've got the E string, which is filled with newer notes, and we have to deal with our low second fingers, which is a newer skill. On top of that, they're asking you to play whole bow with this really beautiful full sound. And then lastly, you've got a crescendo to forte and then a diminuendo all the way down to pianissimo while playing a fermata. So you do you, whatever you need to make this work for you. I'll say the note names and play the rhythms. And the first time through, I'm going to go ahead and say the note names, and the second time through, I'll go ahead and count the rhythms. We're going to add a repeat just to give us a chance. Sound good? Alrighty, and here we go. 1 and 2 and ready and go. E and 2, G, G, and E and 2, D, C natural, and E and A, E, G, and E, D, 2, ready, and E, G, G, C, D, E, D, C, D, A, C, 2, repeat, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 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 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and done. A really beautiful and peaceful piece of music by Dvorak. So, a lot of things to work on. You can work on your slurs. You can work on your subdivided counting. You can work on your E string notes. You can work on your legato sound. You can work on having a sustained sound during your bow changes. Lots of very specific things to think about. But if you've done all that work, here comes Ode to Joy, which is actually the melody from the fourth movement of his Ninth Symphony. So Beethoven wrote 9 symphonies, and the fourth movement is where you hear this famous Ode to Joy melody. And it's fantastic, and it's got all these, it's good, your ears will immediately recognize it. And you have legato, and you have forte, and really you might look at it and be like, that's not so bad. But this is an opportunity to do things at a very, very high level. So let's go ahead and really think about the sound of every bow change, making sure you pay attention to the smoothness of the slurs when once again you get the chance to practice dotted quarter notes. You get the chance to do fourth finger A's and shifting. You get the chance to do 2-note slurred eighth notes. You get the opportunity to do a tie across the bar line, and you get a chance to do a fermata at the very end. This is Ode to Joy. 1, 2, ready, and F sharp, G, A, G, F sharp, E, D, E, F sharp, E, E, F sharp, G, A, G, F sharp, E, D, E, F sharp, E, D, F sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, F sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, F sharp, E, D, E, A, F sharp, G, A, G, F sharp, E, D, E, F sharp, E, D, D. such a famous melody. We're going to do the whole thing again. This time I'll do the rhythm. Although I know most of it's quarter notes, I want to make sure I help with the subdivision of those dotted quarter notes. Here we go. 1, 2, ode to joy. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Done. And that is page 35. Lots of great things to do. And like I've been saying on lots of these videos, it's going to take you more than 21 minutes to learn all of that stuff. Might take hours, might take weeks, might take months. That's okay. Make sure you go slowly. Think about what you're doing and listen to what you're doing. Make sure you practice with ideas of how it should sound as opposed to just playing straight through over and over and over again, trying to help you to be efficient and effective. Well, thanks so much. And remember, if you do practice every day, by the end of the year, you will be talking.